Well, here we have the first science airports. Airports in the Russian Federation have already figured out how things are going to develop. And of course, they started buying mattresses by the hundreds. Naturally, there won't be enough mattresses for everyone. But these mattresses will be thrown into the crowds, enraged by yet another week-long delay, thrown in with the expectation that fights over the mattresses and pads will be inevitable. And those fights will distract the passenger flow from heavy thoughts and liven up all those airline waiters. Internal Aeroflot forecasts promise that in the future, Russians will likely face not only day-long, but sometimes even week-long waits for their flight. And any illusions here are out of place. This whole mess at the airports costs the gurus so little, yet brings them so much pleasure that, of course, it would be foolish to give it up. Of course, they could have done without the mattresses. They could have just covered the floors in the waiting areas with hay and also allowed Russians to light campfires and build huts. But then, of course, they wouldn't achieve that invigorating effect that comes from scattering mattresses around. But in principle, there is also the option of Russians spending their vacations entirely in waiting rooms, waiting for the moment when the clouds of Ukrainian UAVs disperse and they're finally given a flight to Turkey. But it seems that such joy will not always be possible anymore. However, the long wait is always compensated by the pleasant company at the airport. Everyone sings in unison the anthem of the Spanish fascists, which clever Soviets in the 1930s turned into a song called Katyusha. There, during these waits, you can acquire a lot of useful skills, for example, learning to hit the neck of a Pepsi bottle with your stream while blindfolded, since access to the restroom is by ticket only once a day. And really, if you spend your entire vacation at the airport, then the need to run around to places like Turkey or Sochi, well, first of all, it just disappeared. It saves time on flights going through customs and other time losses associated with traveling. And honestly, to tell the truth, I'm happy for the sharks because I've always felt sorry for sharks. The shark that bit off a Russian tourist's leg, maybe, poor thing. It doesn't even realize that, according to Putin's peculiar logic, it's now Russian territory. Well, here we have some more or less precise numbers. And during this short period, from the 19th to the 22nd, this kind of agonizing waiting affected 75,000 passengers. 517 flights were canceled.